The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get.
He missed the complete. That is crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
From Phillip Island, this is the Global Sim Racing Channel's live as it happens coverage of the 7th and final round of the Champion Motorsports Sprint Series. A week ago in the penultimate event, fans and competitors alike saw the Bolivian Breeze Humberto Roca win his 5th race in as many entries to lock up the Pro Driver Championship. Still in doubt coming into tonight's race is the Pro-Am Drivers title as well as the Team Championship. All the crowns will be presented in a little over an hour when the checker flag falls for the final time this season at Phillip Island. Hello everyone, and welcome to another GSRC broadcast. I'm your host, Bill Soups Zahn. Helping me call the action is the best thing to hail from Australia since in excess, Richard Losper. Turning the knobs and pushing the sliders is the master of the muted mic, Kevin Brown. And at his disposal will be the camera location provided by Ansel Adams.
Oh dear. So none of that came through?
Shall we go? From Phillip Island, this is the Global Sim Racing Channel's live as it happens coverage of the 7th and final round of the Champion Motorsports Sprint Series. A week ago, in the penultimate event, fans and competitors alike saw the Bolivian Breeze Humberto Roca win his 5th race in as many entries to lock up the Pro Drivers Championship. Still in doubt coming into tonight's race is the Pro-Am Drivers title as well as the Team Championship. All the crowns will be presented in a little over an hour when the checkered flag falls for the final time this season at Phillip Island. Hello everyone, and welcome to another GSRC broadcast. I'm your host, Bill Soups Zahn. Helping me call the action is the best thing to hail from Australia since Men at Work, Richard Losper. Turning the knobs and pushing the sliders is the master of the muted mic, Kevin Brown. And at his disposal will be the camera locations provided by Ansel Adams of iRacing, Dougie Beard. Richard, let's talk about the track a little bit. So, so many of the tracks we cover on GSRC, Phillip Island is like those. It's either a love them or hate them. Let me tell you, for me, it's both. I hate to race at this thing, but I love to watch a race here. Tell the viewers a little bit about what makes this place kind of special.
Certainly, Bill. Hello and a very warm welcome to everyone watching the broadcast. For those of you who may be wondering why there was such a lot of laughter going on, that is, we had a little incident, so you had to be here to understand what happened. But anyway, it was very funny. Phillip Island Circuit, Bill. Now, as you know, I'm from Australia, so I simply love this track. It is a very, very good track to race on, but it is not as easy as it looks. First of all, let's give a little bit of history here. It's an iconic Australian track, basically the home of motorcycle races in Australia. Some of the many turns, and there are 12 of them, are named after our great motorcycle aces such as Wayne Gardner, Mick Doohan, and lately Casey Stoner. As I mentioned, there are 12 turns. That is 2.7 miles, roughly 3.445 kilometers. As I said, it's not as easy as it looks, Bill. The southern loop, for instance, is a 180 degrees, or just, yeah, it is 180, slightly more actually, of a turn. And there's an elevation change, and it catches lots of drivers out. That's just one of it. The other really tough area of the course, for me anyway, is the coming down into turn number 10 from Lukey Heights, and that is very tough. You're coming down quite a steep incline, and then you have to take a right-hander, and a very tough hairpin it is as well. But if you want to see exactly what it gives, okay, so today we will not be introducing a lap guide, but we can go now ahead, Bill, and let's talk a little bit about the championship. Now, you did already mention that indeed the championship is wrapped up by Umberto Roca. Now, I have called a lot of the races where Umberto Roca simply toyed, dare I say, with the opposition. But let's have a look at what the championship looks like in the pro class. So Umberto Roca, number 1, he's already won this championship. He sits on a total points of 175. Nobody can catch him. Drew Litke is in second place on 142 points, with Paul Darling in third place on 130 points. Then we've got Tom Rache with 124 points. He's in fourth place. And fifth place is held down by Miguel El Crudo on 113 points. Quick mention, Jason Lundy, organizer or one of the organizers of the series, is in sixth place. Let's have a look now at the Pro-Am class. So Tim Collier has done a great job all season, and he is leading the championship on 137 points. Robert Tarbox Jr. came from way back to now sit in second place on 133 points. Big opportunity for Robert to try and win this thing. Nobody else is in it. Third place is James Hume on 69 points. Jay Friels in fourth place on 64 points. And Anthony James in fifth place on 63 points. So really, Bill, it's between the top 2 in the Pro-Am Championship, and I'll be watching very carefully to see what happens there. Meanwhile, do you have the team championship for us?
Yeah, this one's also still up for grabs right now. Now you have Cam-An Racing. They're out in front with 279 points. Now their drivers are Drew Litke, you talked about him, and then Brad Wren are their 2 biggest drivers. Now in second place, Puffin Racing Pro, and they're making a move on these guys. Only 13 back there with 266 points, and that's Tom Ratche is going to be the lead driver there, but Wright and him almost equally as good. Probably they're on par with each other is Jason Lundy. Now third back is Screw Loose Motorsports, and that has Robert Tarbax that we talked about earlier, who's in the hunt for the Pro-Am competition there, and also Jared Lawson is with them. Mango Autosports Delta. Oh, it's Magno, not Mango. Mango sounds much more juicy, but it is Magno, which makes much more sense. Magno Autosports Delta. Thank you. Correction there from my director. Now, that's a pair of Roca brothers. I'm going to assume they're brothers, maybe they're father and son. I don't think they're husband and wife. That's Umberto and Sebastian. And then we go to Magno Autosports, is also running in fifth place there, and that's Paul Darling and Ricardo Mendez are the 2 drivers there for that. So there's your top 5 drivers in the team championship. And that's really we talked about Roca. He is something else. He is very smooth, isn't he, Richard?
Absolutely. The man, both in the Endurance Series as well as in the Sprint Series, he's been unbeatable in the Sprint Series. In the Endurance Series, he has done very well as well, but that's another story. Let's have a quick look at some other things here, Bill. So the weather is very good today. It's overcast, 18 degrees Celsius. So that should be very good for the drivers. The fuel limits are 65% as usual. There is 1 fast repair. And very important, Bill, is the fact that we have a rolling start and that there is a what they call the orange zone in effect. So would you like to describe the orange zone, or would you like me to do that, Bill?
Yeah, we can talk a little bit about it. We saw the orange zone. We talked about it a little bit last race. I don't know if the drivers, I think they're kind of maybe a little bit colorblind like me, because last race we saw they weren't really paying much attention to the orange zone. It was pretty aggressive. What they're supposed to do is behave a little bit. Now, how far does the orange zone go in this race? You know where it is on the track here, Richard?
Yep, certainly the orange zone is from the start today to the exit of turn number 4, which is Honda corner. That is the first hairpin, the right-hander, after you come out of the southern loop and around the fast section. So the exit of turn 4. Now, you'll be aware that the orange zone is there to try and cool things down, but there is no rule that says you can't overtake, Bill. You can, provided you do it safely.
Yeah, that's a great rule. That's the way that I like to see it. Some of these guys, the series is where they prevent, they don't allow passing on like the first half a lap, and it's takes the excitement out of it. They're going to let you pass here, but if you make a mistake, and if you're responsible for things going sour, the wrath of the penalty system is going to come down on you, and you don't want that to happen. These guys usually do a pretty good job. We saw a couple incidents last race where people were aggressive, and a few. Jason Lundy got into trouble. He was able to salvage it, and there was a few incidents, but it's all going very well. You know, we talk about Phillip Island. One of the things that we didn't really mention, but because we didn't have the lap guide, is Richard. It seems like almost every corner is a decreasing radius corner. You get into it, it just keeps getting tighter and tighter on you. It's rough for the talent challenge drivers like myself to deal with that kind of corner.
Well, you're right, Bill. Absolutely, but. Before we get into the little chit chat, we have to realize qualifying is completed. So let's get in the. You've got the pace car now on track. So let's call the grid for you right now, and I think you start there, Bill.
Well, this is a kind of surprise here. Umberto Roca is sitting in the position, and that's kind of to be expected. He's raced, this is his 6th event this series, and he's got a pole 6 times. Now, next to him is the main man, Dexter Castro, and his time is only about, about 4/100 slower than Roca. So it looks like Castro maybe has something a little bit for these guys. Tom Ratche sitting in 3rd position, again, right in the hunt. Very, very close times up in the front there. Paul Darling in 4th position with a 1:26.6. Ratche had a 1:26.6, and guess what? Dexter Castro had a 1:26.6. All very close together. Jason Lundy in the 5th position, and then Jared Lawson in 6th. Richard?
Yep, I've got a few things to say, but we'll leave that for later. Robert Tarbox Jr. let's go to Drew Litke in 7th position. Followed by Robert Tarbox in 8th. James Hume is in 9th position. Tim Collier is in 10th position. Miguel Antonio El Crudo is in 11th place. And Troy Fagan rounds out row number 6 in 12th place.
In the Baker's Dozen spot, it's Ken Baldwin. And then Jay Friels. Put the R in there, boys and girls. Simon Goodwin is going to be in the 15th spot. 16th goes to Warren McGarry. Now let's take a look there, Warren McGarry. Yeah, there we go. We saw him last race. He's in that Ford. I think he's probably the only Ford in here today. Running back there in 16th. Now just outside of him, and I think actually didn't grid, so I see a few names that aren't going to take the grid. So, no, we have one more there. It looks like Anthony James is going to grid up in the final spot. So it looks like 18 names on the chart. 17 have actually taken the grid. Should be exciting as they work their way around for the first lap here as they're going on the pace lap. Quite a ways to go. Now, Richard, one thing we can talk about here is this. You know, you always hear the problems with BMWs versus the roofs. This is really a BMW track, I think. The roofs are going to have not as big as advantage as they do where there's those long straights that they can make up the time. And it looks like Richard may have slipped away there from us. So let's go ahead. We can take a look at the pole sitter up there right now. It's Roca. Now, as they come around this final corner, we'll see what Castro likes to do. Castro's going to be aggressive. He's going to be on the outside. Actually, I don't think he will be. I think actually the way they grid this, looks like Castro might have the inside position as they loop their way around. As they're going to... Nope, I'm correct. Castro will be on the outside as they go into the first corner. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see now. I would expect that roof is going to be able to pull away fast. And we'll see Castro duck in. Now, we just saw him in a race earlier. He was in the Autobahn series, racing the same car. Did really well. Had a little bit of an accident, but was very fast. So keep an eye on that. Look back in 3rd position there at that car. driven by Jason Lundy. I believe it should be Tom Rathie, actually. I'm looking at the... and my scoring and timing is showing Lundy in third, but that's not right. Let me double check that. No, it is Lundy in third. Even though Rathie qualified third, I'm not sure what's going on. Qualifying showed Rathie in third, but it's his partner Lundy running out there. Lundy running in that beautiful golf-colored machine. I just watched Le Mans with Steve McQueen the other night, and it looked just like that. Pace car has pulled off. They come around that final corner. Roca pacing them, holding them back slowly, holding them back. Dexter Castro saying, let's go. Roca now finally on the gas. As they cross the start-finish line. Roca going to nose that roof out in front. Castro going to jump into second place. Now into third is Jason Lundy. On the outside of Lundy at fourth, that's Paul Darling. And what happened was Tom Ratchey did not grid. That's why Lundy got moved up from the fifth position into third. Darling taking a peek on Lundy now as they go side by side. Lundy on the outside has a little bit of movement, but he gets loose. He's going to lose that position. Lundy drops down into fourth position. Darling takes over third. Castro comfortably in second. Roca starting to pull away in the first position. Dropping back, keep an eye now on sixth place there. Jared Lawson makes a dive inside with that roof as they go side by side with Litke. Litke on the inside now as they come up into Siberia. Litke's going to have the position. Lawson's going to have to fall back into sixth, but he hasn't given up the ghost yet. Lawson close on Litke's tail as they come up into Lukey Heights. Looks like Litke's going to be able to stabilize that position in sixth. Tarbox running in seventh position. We talked about him in that amateur, the Pro-Am battle. Running in seventh. Right behind him, Tim Collier. Rounding out the top 10, James Hume. And then back all the way back to Michael Acrudo. His friends call him Michael. It says Miguel on your chart. As they complete lap run now, Umberto Roca with about a half-second lead on Castro. Castro stalking him in that BMW. They go down. Look at Castro now. You're going to see the advantage there. If we can get back on the leaders, you can watch Castro. What he can do under braking with that BMW, we've seen it before, is really amazing. Look at him have the advantage through these sweeping corners. Castro likes to put the downforce in that car so it sticks like it's on Velcro as they round. Now, as they come down to these corners, watch them again as they come into Honda. I would expect that Castro in second place would dive up in there into that roof. Castro making good position moves through these twisty sections, and then the roof starts to pull away. We're on board with Dexter now. You can see the roof able to get the power down on corner exit and starts to pull away. The BMW having advantage on corner entry, the roof having advantage on corner exit. Making a move now in the roof in third position. Paul Darling begin to closing up on Dexter. You won't be able to, there we go, see it. Watch Darling closing in there, running in third position right now. 1, 2, 3 is Roca, Castro, and Darling. See them on your stream right now as they go through. Let's back up a little bit to this battle for fourth. Litke. There's your first McLaren running up there in fourth position. Behind him in a roof is Lawson. And a little bit back is Lundy in that Steve McQueen colored paint scheme of that BMW. Lundy, of course, in Puffin Racing, which is in a battle for the team championship. We're on board now with Litke, looking back at Lawson right behind him. That's a battle for, well, Litke sits in fourth, Lundy in fifth. Lawson in fifth, Lundy in sixth. There should be a rule about having too many drivers with L's to start their name running next to each other. Litke, Lawson, Lundy, 4, 5, 6. Getting in the mix too, thankfully, it's Robert Larbox. No, sorry, it's Tarbox. No L in his name. Look at that BMW again. Close it in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 car battle with Collier in there as well in the McLaren. You're not missing anything up in front. It's still Roca, Castro, and Darling hounding Castro. About 3.5 seconds back from Darling, back to that battle in 5th position. There, you can see it on the screen. There you're looking at that 3-car battle. Roca, Castro, and Darling. Looking back now, if we go back to the 4th position battle, I think what's making this interesting is I think maybe the slowest car in this 5-car train is the leader up there in the McLaren of Litke. I think he's holding these other guys back. Lawson sitting back there looking for a place to go, not close enough to make the move yet. Jason Lundy back there in 6th, disappointed that his teammate Tom Ratchie, who qualified in 3rd, must have had a problem. That's going to hurt that Puffin Racing, as they were really had hopes of getting into the team championship. Right now we're looking at that battle for 6th position. You see Lundy pulling away a little bit from Tarbox. Collier running in 8th. Our leader is off. Our leader has slipped off. We'll see if he can. Looks like, where was he going? Was it into Honda that he had trouble? Look. To Honda? I think it was into Honda. We'll see if we can get a replay of that. I can see it on my screen as we're looking for the replay. Boy, I'm not sure. It looked like he, not that he overcooked it and then he put it into the exit lane and was in no hurry to bring it back on the track. It's almost like there was a mechanical issue. Look at it. You can see it right there. There you see him coming. As soon as our director, and he still sits there now. Now he's got it back on track finally. Took him forever to turn that around. Now, you may think that that might be the all she wrote for Umberto Roca, but maybe with this championship in the bag, maybe he said to himself, you know what? I don't want to go wire to wire. Let's let these guys get a little bit of head start if I can run them down. Well, what that means, though, is the main man, Mr. Lobster, Dexter Castro, out in front, ahead now of Paul Darling. Castro out in front with about a second lead over Darling. In 3rd position, it's Litke now. That battle between all the L drivers. Litke, Lundy, and Lawson running 3rd, 4th, and 5th now. There's, we're watching Castro on screen. It's be an interesting battle between these 2 car manufacturers there, of the BMW of Castro and Darling running in that roof. We talked about the advantages that those cars have. Castro, really good corner entry. Lundy's going to be really good getting the power down on corner exit. See if we can find another close battle somewhere back in the pack here. Somebody we haven't seen. Let's see if we can check in on our 1-4 driver. Is he out there, director? Let's go ahead and look at. Well, where is he? McGarry, is he still out there? Oh no, Warren McGarry is in the pits. I hate to see that. Everybody loves that Ford. Not sure what happened to Warren. He's rolling now. Now just pulling out. There we go. Maybe some early trouble for Warren. They do get 1 fast repair. Don't like to see that beautiful Ford damaged at all. Looking back at this battle now between Lundy and Litke. Lundy in the blue and orange Gulf-colored machine. Lundy making a move on the outside as they go through Siberia. Lundy's going to have the momentum now as they battle up to Lukey Heights. Litke is going to try to pin him to the inside. The McLaren with a little more horsepower getting the move done as they go side by side. Cialis bathtubs into Honda. Sorry, I had the wrong turn there. Into Honda, and they got it, and Ratchie is going to take that lead. Litke was on the outside. There was no way he was going to get that done. Lundy now beginning to pull away, and Litke now under challenge from Lawson. Now they head up to Lukey Heights. Litke's McLaren, you can see the backfire out of that machine. Must be, Lawson probably needs a heat shield like the Apollo spaceships. Gets that close, so close to Litke's car there. In that 4-car battle, Tarbox running in 6th, with Collier running in 7th position. On board Tarbox BMW, looking ahead now. just ahead, and Lawson in 5th, and the McLaren of Litke in 4th position. Remember, these guys have a pit stop to make, so they can try to get this done now. Should be a pit stop somewhere about halfway through this 60-minute race. I'd like to welcome back to the booth Richard Losberg. Richard, are you back with me?
I sure am, my friend, and I'm just watching Dexter Castro leading this race, and it's a good thing to see. He's being followed here by Paul Darling in 2nd place, not that far behind him, but quite a nice healthy gap. And then you've got Jason Lundy in 3rd place, so they're getting spread out a little bit here, Bill. I've missed a little bit of the race, obviously, but it looks like a good challenge happening here further back.
Well, since you're here, it gives me a chance to go through the field a little bit. And we talked a little about Tom Ratchey, who qualified 3rd. Must have had some problems gridding. Currently running in 11th spot right now. Maybe we can put the camera on him. He's got his way up to 11th. They had some problem. And then I'm seeing if I can find on here where Roca is. Umberto Roca is still on the course, still on the lead lap. 46 seconds back. Ooh, that's going to be a hard challenge to make up 46 seconds in 49 minutes. Probably not going to be able to do it on this track. It'll be interesting to find out what happened to him. Nice to see that he didn't give up the ghost, though. Still out there putting in the laps, running last car on the lead lap. Richard?
Yeah, well, yes, interesting things happening here. Firstly, the championship first place is between Tim Collier and Robert Tarbox Jr. Now, Robert Tarbox is 2nd. He is currently leading Tim Collier by a very slim margin on track at the moment. Robert Tarbox, meanwhile, has got a few guys in front of him. Jarrett Lawson is there in front of him, and of course Drew Litke as well. So they're pretty close, but the battle for first place, the championship in effect, is between Robert Tarbox and Tim Collier, and Tim Collier is just on the rear bumper now, not that far behind, a half a second or so behind Tim Collier. Look for a fierce battle here, Bill, as they both fight for P1 in the championship.
Yeah, and of course, that's not the Pro Championship, that's the Pro-Am Championship before those guys we talked about. Roca has that thing locked up. Hey, while you were talking, 9th position now goes to Tom Ratchey. He is flying. Remember, he's your 3rd fastest qualifier. He just got around Miguel Crudo to move up into the 9th position. Crudo running in 10th, and Troy Fagan running back there in his McLaren in 11th spot right now. As you see on screen, Rathy making his way up. Now, he's got quite a ways to go to get up to his next guy. Rathy, he's got 5 seconds to get up to James Hume, who's currently running in 8th.
Yes, sir. And keeping an eye on this between Collier and Robert Tarbox. He closes up in the southern loop, does Tim Collier. And the McLaren, can he get the power down quickly enough to try and make something happen as they go into Honda corner? I don't think so. He's not close enough. Meanwhile, ahead of them, there's another big battle going on between Lawson and Litke. Have a look at that one, Bill. That's very close.
Yeah, that's been going on for most of the races that go through Siberia now. Lawson in that McLaren, and then Litke in the roof as they work their way up into Lukey Heights. That roof just can't seem to get around them. See if he takes a bite in here. One of the favorite passing zones I like in here is as they come down into turn 10. Richard, you told me this is the MG corner coming in, where they dive it in there. And look at as Lawson tries to nip it in there, and I think he's going to get it done. He's going to have the momentum, and I think, yep, give that position to Lawson as he gets it into turn 10. I love that corner.
Yeah. Drew Litke gave it up going into the very tight hairpin there. Not the best place to attack two or to go through 2 by 2 or side by side. So he gave it up, but he'll be back. Watch him as we go forward in the race here as they go through. This is one tough corner, this right-hander, which is you flat on the accelerator, then you've got to brake, then you've got to keep your speed up. But, as you said, Bill, the corners just keep tightening up, so you've got to take that decreasing radius into account. Very tough track there, very open, but you have to be very precise on this track.
Looking at that battle now with Tarbox and Litke, they're not giving it up. just something that viewers can keep in mind. Remember, these GSRC broadcasts are for entertainment purposes only. Please, no wagering. But I'm going to set the over-under now for Umberto Roca. He's 40 seconds back from the lead, currently running in 16th position. I'm giving the over-under at 6.5 for him. So if you want to bet the under, bet he's going to finish 6. If you think the over, it's 7. Even money on that bet. Again, it's just for entertainment purposes only. Looking now back at the battle still with Tarbox and Collier.
Well, not into gambling in any shape or form, Bill. Over under means absolutely nothing to me, but I guess you must be an expert, so I'll leave that bit to you.
That's because you're from Australia. You're down under. Bet the under, buddy. Okay, go ahead, Rich.
Right, well, let's go to the front. So our leader is Dexter Castro. Paul Darling is cutting his lead down. He's now 1.4 seconds back. Previous lap it was 1.7 seconds. So he's going 3/10. Now he's got a lot more experience in the series, does Paul Darling. But Dexter Castro I know for a fact, he loves this track. And he's doing a fantastic job, Dexter, in getting out front there. We haven't seen him, I think, only in the first race. I think the last time I saw him was at Motegi. But here he is leading this race at Phillip Island. Not a easy thing to do. But Paul Darling is catching. Jason Lundy and the rest of the guys behind them who are in a big bunch, they are 9 seconds back. So, here comes Paul Darling. He's made a significant inroad right there into that lead of Dexter Castro. Let's see what he can do now. Dexter pushes wide, does everything he can to get the power down early, but here comes Paul Darling. Look for him in the next lap or two, Bill, to come onto the back bumper of Dexter Castro. Then it'll be on for young and old, because Dexter does not give up a position easily.
Okay, we're going to go back to 12th position now as we're looking at this battle between James, Baldwin, and Goodwin. James in that McLaren out in front, followed right behind by the BMW, and then another McLaren there. So you have that BMW in the sandwich. James beginning to pull away, but the real battle is Baldwin and Goodwin back there for 14th and 15th position.
Yeah, that's correct. Here comes Simon Goodwin in good use of the draft. Thinks about going to the inside, decides it's not a good idea, backs it out, and gets the corner nicely. Now they're going to the southern loop. Just in front of him, Ken Baldwin in what looks like a white car to me. It may be a completely different color because I don't have my trading paints going. Trading paints, few problems for me anyway. But ahead of both of these two, we have Anthony James. Anthony James, a regular in the series. We haven't seen that much of Ken Baldwin. We have seen Simon Goodwin a few times as well. Now they go towards Siberia, which is a very tight left-hander, slightly banked, so you can get some good speed going through here. At the moment, holding station. They're quite close to each other, but I have to say, Bill, doesn't look like an overtaking maneuver is going to happen real soon.
And just to follow up, you guys who got your bets down on Umberto Roca on the over, he had more trouble again in Honda. As he came in there, the car slowed down just like before, stopped on the grass, and he drove it very slowly straight into the barrier. Felt like a hardware issue. So that's the end of Umberto Roca. He's going to see if he can. We're going to see if we can get a replay on this one. It was back a little bit. We'll see if our director can go back far enough to get it. Here we go. We think we have it here. Now look what happens, Richard. Real simply, he just pulls off, and then he just kind of slowly drives it into the barrier there. It felt like hardware issue. So unless maybe the UPS guy came to the door and he was getting his prescription of energy drink or something. I don't know.
Oh, we have a spin. That is, who's in front of Goodwin? That is...
McGarry.
Baldwin. Baldwin spun it going into Southern Loop. I mentioned that is a really tough corner. No dramas for Simon Goodwin, just a pass. And, Simon Goodwin suffering with a little bit of braking problems there going into a Honda corner, but manages to keep it on track. Now we're getting a replay there. Go ahead, Bill.
Here we go. We're looking at the replay now, and you can see when they're on the grass, bringing it back out. Simultaneously, as that was going on, I called out the name of McGarry. He also spun. We had simultaneous spins on different parts of the track. McGarry spun that forward. So you see Baldwin now dropping down to 14th position. And our director says we have the McGarry spin. There's that beautiful Ford GT, which we're not going to be seeing much more pretty soon as they're going to phase that machine out. You're looking at that beautiful blue machine as we get it here as we're watching. It's going to come up here anytime. Oh, it looks like maybe he blew an engine. No, he's still on the track, so I don't think... Yeah, it was just getting in the curbs because the car's still running. So that's enough screen time for McGarry running last actually on the lap right now. Let's see how we're doing back up to the lead. Richard, what do you see up there?
Well, Paul Darling isn't actually... I expected him to be right on the rear bumper by this time of Dexter Castro, but Dexter has just kept ahead of him by that margin, a similar margin all the time, every lap, about 1.4 to 1.6 seconds. Currently, it is 1.6 seconds. Then it's a long way back, 11 seconds back to Jason Lundy, then Jarrett Lawson and Drew Litke. Now, let's go back to the battle here between Tim Collier and Robert Tarbox. That is still on. That is still on. Bear in mind, Bill, we have a pit stop to come. We are on lap number 14. So the pit stops, lap's time about 20 odd minutes, 25 minutes or so. So we should be getting in the next 10 minutes, there should be pit stops everywhere happening. A quick comment on Umberto Roca. You know, he's got the championship wrapped up. There was no need for him to even race today, I believe. So I think it's one of those things where you take it too easy. There's nothing at stake for him, and he took it too easy, and he had all kinds of problems. So it was like under, over, and out.
Getting news. Fagan looks like he lost it in after turn 10. Fagan has put it off the grass. Looks like he got into trouble through turn 10. We'll see if we can get it on replay. There you just see the tail end of it there.
And here's a battle brewing. Simon Goodwin now on Anthony James. Very close he is to Anthony. In fact, he's going to try and make the move into Honda corner on the inside. Has to keep it tight so that he can leave some room. Very good driving there. He leaves room for Anthony James, but he does make the pass stick, and he has moved up one position. Now he will be in 11th place.
Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of inside information here that you're only going to hear from experienced announcers like myself. Dexter Castro in the BMW. The BMW is naturally more thirsty than the roof anyway. And Castro likes to turn up the downforce. I guess turn down the downforce. Push up the downforce. I don't know how you want to phrase that, up or down. That car is going to be very thirsty. It's going to burn fuel faster than the roof. What does that mean? Well, when they come in, expect the roof to gain a little bit of time if Darling can...
Battle here have to break in. Tom Rache making great inroads here on Tim Collier and Robert Tarbox. So he's going to be a spiller here in the battle for the P1 in the Pro-Am Championship. He's trying, having a quick look there, does Tom Rache. He's been very fast. He's caught these guys from way back. And I can imagine that he would try and pass them and get past them on the next straightaway. Let's see if he can do that. Meanwhile, he's just sitting back at the moment. And that's given Tim Collier a bit of a hurry up. He is now very close to Robert Tarbox Jr. This is the battle for the championship in the Pro-Am class. So a lot of action back here in positions 8, 7, and 6. And there's one off.
That's looks like the Ford of McGarry. I think he was maybe just thinking to get out of the way of those guys. Probably didn't scare him more than he actually helped him there. Tarbox is going to pull away. Collier and Rathie now hounding him as they come around the final corner. Keep in mind that Rache is also in position for a championship, and that's the team that's the championship that Puffin Racing was after. And Rache started from the pits. He was qualified third, but had that horrible start from the pits, has worked his way all the way up to 8th position, and is within striking distance of getting up to 6th. He really wants to make sure. Got a great run now on Collier. they go through the southern loop. Oh, he's hungry, Richard.
Yes, sir. And now he's on the outside. I think we may see Tim Collier give it up. This is bad for Tim Collier. Very bad for Tim Collier. He wants to win the championship. He has to get close to Robert Tarbox. He's not interested in Tom Rache. Tom Rache is driving in the pro class. So he wants to get close to Robert Tarbox. He was very close just a lap ago. And look at what has happened, Bill. He has lost a lot of distance to Robert Tarbox. In fact, he will have to work very hard to make that up again. He will be hoping that Tom Rache will get past Robert Tarbox quickly, which is happening as we speak. They into MG corner, and have a look at Tom Rache. On fire is Tom Rache on the outside, and Robert Tarbox gives that up. He's lost a little bit of time now. Here comes Tim Collier. Tim Collier back in the hunt with the Robert Tarbox Jr., and this is really the battle that I am very interested in.
That Rathy pass looked like a Days of Thunder pass where all he had to do was put it in another gear. The car took off. Man, he got the power down there as he's starting to pull away. Well, actually, Tarbox staying with him, but I would expect Rathy to pull away because he's a faster qualifying time. He's going to be running up there. So now you got those two drivers next to each other again. Tarbox and Collier running 7th and 8th, and that's that in that Pro-Am battle. Rathy up in 6th. Now next on his list is Drew Litke, running in 5th position. It's about 3.3 seconds for Rathy to get on up there. Litke qualified 7th. Ratchy qualified in 3rd, so I expect him to get up there pretty quickly. 4th position, Lawson having that quiet lace. Lundy in 3rd, and then the battle now for the lead is Castro about 2.5 seconds up on Darling.
Yes, that is. He's pulling away. Dexter Castro is pulling away from Paul Darling, which, quite frankly, and maybe this is a disservice I've done to Dexter Castro. I didn't think that would happen, but it is happening because we are seeing, first of all, Dexter Castro in a BMW give a good lesson here to Paul Darling in the roof, which is shown to be the faster car here virtually all the races so far, Bill. So certainly this track obviously suits the BMW down to the ground.
Yeah, it doesn't have those incredibly long straights the BMW does so well on. So all the BMW, or that the roof does so well on, so all the BMW really has to try to survive is the roof's advantage, getting the power down.
Yep, that's true. Here we go. Hang on. Here we go. This is Collier now just behind Robert Tarbox. The battle is on. Robert was trying to keep his BMW in the draft of Tom Rache. That failed. Tom Rache just sprinted away. And so he's now back in the clutches of the McLaren of Tim Collier. Here comes Tim Collier. They go into Honda corner, come out of the right-hander. Now they get the power down, going up towards Siberia. The BMW slightly better. Now they use the banking to get as much of the corner done. Now they get the power down. Here comes Tim Collier. This is where the McLaren is very good. He will make up some time as they go up into Lukey Heights. And this is a tough corner. It's blind first of all, and it just keeps on turning. And now they go downhill into MG. No sign of Tim Collier able to make ground on Robert Tarbox. So the status quo is the same. I think this will go through to the pit stops, which should be closed now, Bill.
Yeah, it should be coming up anytime. That pit window stretches a few minutes. Let's go ahead. We talked about, let's look ahead at Drew Litke right now, currently running in 5th position. Richard, keep an eye on that battle you were looking at if that fires up again. Litke currently running in 5th. Now he's 1.3 seconds ahead of Tom Rache. Remember just a second ago I told you it was 3.3 seconds? Well, just in the little bit of time that Richard was covering that battle going on between Tarbox and Collier, Rache knocked off about 2 more seconds. He is gobbling up Litke, looking to crack into the top 5. We're on board with Rache now. You see him in the unusual, usually he's in a matching paint scheme of that kind of blue and orange colored car, the Golf car, a matching sister car to Lundy's, running in a yellow and black car today. Maybe that had something to do with his problem. Maybe he didn't recognize his car, couldn't find it when they were on the grid. Right now, Lawson, Litke only 0.7 seconds ahead of Rache.
Folks, if you if you're wondering or bewildered by all these metaphors that come out of the mouth of Mr. Bill Zahn, let me tell you, this is par for the course. In fact, oh, yeah, we have a spin. Tim Collier spinning as he goes into the wall as well, coming out of Siberia there. This is all over for Tim Collier now. That was not a hard hit, so he should be able to get back in the race, but he's lost a ton of time now to Robert Tarbox, Bill.
On the replay now, as we're watching, you can see Collier in the trailing car. Looks like for the replay it was hard to tell because it kind of chopped. It looked like he's just got a little bit loose. But here's the good news, bad news situation. Bad news is, yes, you've spun. Good news is you've spun in your pit window. So at least you have a fast repair. If you've damaged your car, come on in and get a clean car. It won't cost you that much time. You didn't have to take a tow. So, you know, if you're looking for the silver lining, if you're a glass half full type of guy, hey, you're going to spin it, do it in your pit window.
Correct. And he touched very lightly, so he's still going and he's carrying on, but we'll see by the line where he comes out. It's going to be something like, could be 13, 14, 15 seconds back. That's a long way back.
Let's go to fifth position with Drew Litke real quick, because unless they decide to come in for the pits here, which I wouldn't be surprised if they do, Ratchie's about to take him up. In fact, if I was Tom, I would almost maybe not make this move now. I would almost come in, get my pit stop early, and then run a hot lap, and you'll be in front of him. Right now you can see as they go into down into corner 10 and then around. Let's see if they actually go into the pits here. Tom, I'm going to tell you, do your pit stop now. Get in there, and he's not listening to me. Now you're going to be held up for another lap or so.
Well, the thing is, Tom Raja is on fire here today, so he wants to get by Drew Litke, I would imagine, get that done as he comes up onto the bumper here of Drew Litke. McLaren versus BMW. The McLaren goes, Litke goes in deep there, manages to pull the car up. Now they come into the very tough southern loop, and we see that Tom Rachi is more comfortable in the BMW going around the southern loop there. Now it's flat out all the way down to Honda corner. Hard braking, very hard braking. He's going to try it on the inside. Drew Litke will have none of it, keeps him at bay there, manages to defend from the outside. Very good driving by Drew Litke, but is it inevitable that Tom Rachi will overtake Drew Litke? I would imagine so. He's come from a long way back to catch him. So, Bill, I think you're right. Get in the pits now, get that done, and then battle to the end.
Yeah, this whole lap cost him, that cost him a second, because he's a second faster. At least a second faster a lap. Maybe a half second faster. Let's not exaggerate. Come on in this time, Tom. As they go down into 10, he's not going to get it done. Now, here's the deal. If Litke comes in and that BMW can go one more lap than stay out there, whatever Litke does, do the opposite if you can afford to do it. Come on in, Tommy. That a boy. You didn't hear me the first time.
Yeah, you should have spoken louder, Bill.
That's, work together on the IRT over at the MX5 World Tour. He never listened to me over there either. Always overturning my decisions in a field. Meanwhile, out in front, it's Castro, Darling running in second. Lundy still in third. None of these guys have come in, and Litke's going to stay out there in fourth. So really, the first guy to come in is Ratchi, of those guys who are out in front. Tarbox also staying out there. Castro has got to come in pretty soon. He's built that lead up to 3.2 seconds. I don't care how much fuel now that BMW is going to take from Dexter. I mean, 3.2 seconds. He should be able to get that pit stop done. Come in there, have a little sip, maybe take a bite of sandwich, and still get out ahead of Darling.
Yeah, actually, it's very important for Darling to get in there before Dexter Castro get his pit stop done, get a little bit of fresh rubber on as well. The laps are running out now. Or the time's running out. It's 37 minutes already on the clock here out of 1 hour. So it's going to be a tough decision here for Paul Darling. Does he come in, which he hasn't done this time? By the way, Bill, the pit entry to this track is like way,
Yeah, something.
Before the final corner. So it's a weird pit entry and a long pit entry as well. Meanwhile, let's just have a quick look at Tom Rachi. Tom Rachi's back out on the track now, having done his pit stop. He comes back out in about 9th position. So let's see. Everyone else in front of him, behind him, they've all got a pit still. So let's see how this benefits him, Bill.
You know, I'm going to take a page out of Kevin Brown's book when he's in the booth with me and we're commentating together, and I'm going to argue with you a little bit. Richard, you talked about taking tires. I don't think these guys are going to take rubber, because one of the weird things about these GT3 cars is you can take fuel and you can take tires, but you can't take them simultaneously. Yeah, you can do it on the same pit stop, but not all at the same time. You got to wait for the cars to fuel. And now they do it one tire at a time, so it takes about 27 seconds to get 4 fresh fuel goods on your car. I would be surprised if anybody takes, well, certainly 4 tires, and I don't really know. I think it upsets the balance on these cars if you just take 2.
Yeah, look, another factor in that decision, of course, is the fact that the weather is overcast. There's good grip there.
Yeah.
Now, that's going to be slightly easy, or I'm not so sure if it's easier or worse on the tires, because when you've got a lot of grip.
Oh, Darling, as we had it on screen, Darling coming in behind Castro. Castro going to run one more time. Darling got the right side tires on the grass, almost looped it. Well, that was a close one. Now here comes Paul right now.
Yeah, well, Dexter Castro is he back out there, or is he still out there?
No, Castro hasn't come in yet. He's still running, as is Lundy. So Darling is in. It looks like Litke is staying out as well. He has yet to come in.
Yeah, and there's about 20 odd minutes left in this race. So here comes Darling out of the now. Dexter Castro is already way past. Well, he hasn't come in anyway. So it's going to be interesting to see how hard Paul can run. Did we note? I didn't take notice, but I don't think Paul took any tires. So, you know, getting back to that story, it's pretty cool here. So that'll favor the tire wear a little bit. So it probably, I don't think you'll see many taking tires.
Now, it's hard to make up the time if you're looking at only maybe 25 minutes after you make your pit stop. You know, you'd have to be. It takes 27 seconds to change all 4 tires. You got to be about a second, you know, make up a second per minute. That's kind of hard to do. Castro going to keep that BMW out one more time as he's going around here. Now, that's lap 26 for him. 23 minutes to go, well over the halfway point. But we knew that the pit window was about 7 minutes plus or minus the midway mark, so he's got to be coming in pretty soon.
Oh, yeah, he has to. I mean, I think our expert is Kevin Brown on these matters, but I think it's about 35.
Car off. Darling is off. Darling was off in the sand.
That is on the turn. That's on That's on the exit of the southern loop. That you know, that is one of the first corners on this track, and it's because it drops away and it's off camera as well, Bill.
And watch, he gets it off in the grass and he sees the wall coming in. He's trying to turn the wheel. He's trying to turn it.
Back
and
in the pits.
Puts it into the wall.
Going back in the pits.
Yeah, he could have a pretty good hit on that one. And what's sad, it was a long time coming too, Paul. You could have phoned your wife about that one. Honey, I'm about to hit the wall.
Yes, he certainly could. Right, let's see. Do we have... well, let's take a wrap here. So, Dexter Castro's still out there, Bill. Is he ever going to pit? Let's see if he goes into the pits this time. He is in first place. He's coming to the pit entry. Here he goes. He's going into the pits right now. So he'll take his pit stops with about 20 minutes to go in the race, which is a good time to do your pit stop. So you can go about 40 minutes in the race on the fuel that you have, the 65% fuel. He's in. So Jason Lundy will assume momentarily the lead. Jason, oh, here comes Jason in as well. Good thinking. And then Drew Litke is out there now. Drew, did he pit already? I don't have my timing. No,
nope,
he didn't pit. Obviously, here he comes. Tim Collier coming in. Drew Litke coming in. Tim Collier out there now, and he will be the momentary leader. So we'll see what happens. This is always a confusing time for us as everybody goes into the pits.
I believe your top driver who's pitted is Ratche. He's well back. He's not going to get there as Castro is exiting now. So Dexter, what I think Dexter wanted to do was have a wire-to-wire. I don't believe he gave up the lead. Maybe he did. I guess when he came in, did Lundy maybe went one more? I'm not sure. Maybe he surrendered the lead. I think Dexter wanted to run it as long as he could. Have those straight numbers up there. You hear from my director one more time, director? Oh, Rocco, that's right. I'm saying wire to wire. That's right. Rocco led earlier. Sorry, Dexter. Wire to wire for you. It's always nice though after the race when you check the little grid afterwards and you see nothing but straight numbers in your little box. 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. I know that happens to Mr. Losper all the time.
Yeah, I'm pretty used to that, Bill. No problem. So let me, which of course my good friend Kevin is not. I mean, he very seldom gets a 1-1-1. Anyway, let's have a look here at Dexter Castro. Dexter, I take my hat off to Dexter Castro. Not raced much in the series. I don't know how much he's raced in the BMW per se, but he's coming out here at this track, and after the first few laps, as we said, he's just blown everyone away. First place he is now. We'll see when he crosses the line what his gap is to second place. And barring any major incident, I would have to say, without trying to put the the commentator's curse on him, that he will win this race, Bill.
All right, Tim Collier. Collier is bringing it in from second position, and we're hearing that Litke is being caught by Darling. Let's go ahead and look at this here. Litke running in sixth position, Darling running in fifth. These guys are well back behind Rathy, who's said goodbye to them long ago.
All right, now Jared Lawson. Sorry, go ahead.
Collier, we're hearing from our director, who's taking it, I believe, his scheduled pit stop. Now remember, Darling has come into the pits. He was running in second. Darling should be able to make quick work. Look at Litke taking the defensive position as they head down into the first corner. He's going to make that roof go on the outside. There's not a lot of grip out there. Is he going to get it done? Yeah, he's able to hang on to it. Oh, nice job by Paul Darling, able to get it done on the outside, and now they go through the southern loop.
Okay, here's another battle here. Tom Rache, Jared Lawson. Tom Rache on the inside, Jared Lawson not giving it up. This is BMW versus roof. Now we know Jared Lawson is a good operator in that roof. We've seen that Tom Rache is doing a fantastic job here at Phillip Island. So this is going to be a good battle because Tom Rache wants to get every position that he can to give him more points, because of course he is in the battle. Bill, while you comment on something, I'm gonna just have a look at the championship and we'll see where Rache is.
Okay, I will comment on something. Let's stay with this battle here with Lawson and Rache. Now remember, Rache started from the very back, qualified third, for some reason didn't make the grid, and has made his way all the way up through the field. What's interesting about this is, let's see what Rache does as they come down the main straight here. Keep an eye on Lawson if he's going to stay defensive or if he's going to move to the outside. Look, Lawson's going to play this straight as he drifts to the left. Rache with that drive on that BMW, he's going to dive that thing in there, and watch the braking now. The BMW should be able to tuck it in there. He does, but remember, Lawson's going to have the advantage as they go through the southern loop. So really, and if Rache says, no, I'm going to make my BMW stick on the outside through the southern loop, can he do it? They go side by side. Rache should have the momentum on the outside. See how this backed up? No! Pulling away as Lawson. Rache could not get the power down on that BMW. Lawson is going to hold onto that position, but it's going to be a long 17 minutes for Jared because Tom is hungry.
Yes, and I want to tell you now, I've caught up with what's happening in the championship. Drew Litke and Paul Darling. Drew Litke is in second place on 142 points. Paul Darling on 130 points. So yeah, this is pride only. Drew Litke is not going to make enough points to pass. Paul Darling is not going to make enough points to pass Drew Litke, even if he does take second and Litke takes third.
We're going to stay on this Rache-Lawson battle here. Now, I got to be honest, I have watched Rache race probably more hours than I've spent watching, Breaking Bad. And he's a great driver, but man, he has a tendency to sometimes let his aggression get the best of him. Let's watch him as they go down this straight again. Now remember, last time Lawson decided to drift to the left, and he's going to do it again. That's going to give Rache the inside position here through turn one. But if he can't get it done, that's going to give Lawson the outside position. But nope, Tom says, not this time, buddy. I'm taking it in deep. We're going to finish this thing right here and shut Soup up. I got my podium position, Soup. Nice going, Tom. And Lawson drops into fourth position now. Who does Tom have next? Can he get to his teammate? Jason Lundy sits 7.5 seconds ahead of Ratchi with 16 minutes to go. That's a tall order, but the way Ratchi's driving, he could get it done, Rich.
Yes. And, okay, well, let's go and have a look. We're getting information. Tarbox and James Hume in a battle. I'm looking at James Hume at the moment. Tarbox Jr. in front of him. Not much of a battle at this point in time. So, it is developing. It's developing. We'll keep an eye on that one. But let us put the camera now, Kevin, on Jason Lundy. Jason Lundy, Bill, has had the quietest race. We haven't mentioned him once as far as I can remember. And look at him, second place behind Castro. I think that's a great achievement, one of his best or better finishes for the season, I believe, Bill.
Yeah, and we talked about it before. I love the paint scheme. It's that Gulf blue and orange paint scheme, and I mentioned, Richard, while you weren't here, I just watched the movie Grand Prix again, and it looks just like the Porsche that Le Mans. Sorry, wrong movie. I did watch Le Mans. Trust me. It looks just like the Porsche that Steve McQueen was driving. That actually crashed. But what is interesting for Puffin Racing is they're in the hunt for this drivers for the team championship, and with Tom Ratchi doing his butter knife through the hot knife through butter through the field, getting up into third position, second and third might be enough for Puffin Racing to grab that team championship.
Yeah, second and third. We'll check that in a minute and see what the points difference is. But at the moment, they're all pretty spread out. So I'm going back through the field here, looking for a battle. The closest one I can see is James Hume and Robert Tarbox Jr. But it's not. Oh, James Hume.
Collier.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Collier just looped it. Maybe we can get that on replay because it just happened, and this is important because it has team championship ramifications here. Collier put it off going into corner one. Oh, very strange. It looks like he just got. Did he put the left tires on the grass? Let's see if I can see a mic while the director looks for it. Now,
well,
what? No, we have it now. Here we go. Now, no, maybe he caught the inside curbing, maybe, and that's what kind of upset that McLaren. Let's watch as he comes down now. Here they come into corner one. Maybe he gets the right sides on the inside and it just looped him around. Now, why is this important? That's because Collier is racing with Drew Litke for Can-Am Racing. Those are the top two drivers with 279 points. They were only 13 points ahead of Puffin Racing with Ratchi and Lundy. So I'm not sure how the points are going to play out.
Tim Collier off track again. This is bad news. Very bad news for Tim Collier. Let me tell you, there's 4 points between Collier in first place and Robert Tarbox Jr. in second place in the championship. Currently, there is one car in front of Collier, which is James Hume. James Hume is third in the championship. So this has major implications for Tim Collier in the championship,
Yep.
Bill.
Both in his individual Pro-Am championship and in the team championship. You're racing like the sword of Damocles is hanging over his head. The nerves are getting to the best of him. The horse's hair is tight and he's starting to sweat. Take care of Tim. Relax, buddy. The horse's hair. And he's looped it again.
This is it.
Oh,
It's
and he's
all
put it over
over.
the wall. The sword has crushed him.
Bill, you killed him. You killed him with
It
all
wasn't
that
me. It
talk
was the
of
sword
swords.
of Damocles. Oh.
Oh, he's still going. Does he have a fast repair lift? That is the main question. I don't think so. I think his day is done here, Bill.
Oh, my goodness.
That's terrible. I mean, we're laughing, but you know, that is really, it's awful. It is. From first place in the championship, he now has a whole bunch of drivers between him and Robert Tarbox Jr. So he's in trouble. He's in big trouble. He's not going to win this championship, unfortunately.
Nothing worse than having the announcer say that the pressure's getting to you as you spin. Ugh.
Oh dear, that
Yeah,
was
that's-
awful. And all this talk about the sword of Damocles, and there he was up in the air getting killed.
I knew I went to 8th grade English for some reason there. Okay, Dexter Castro out in front. Well out in front. Hey, Dexter, 25-second lead. Very impressive. 11 minutes to go. We'll run down. Let's go ahead and run down the top 10, Director, if we have that ability. Castro out in front. Lundy running in second, about 4.5 seconds now back to Ratchie. Ratchie has knocked off 2 seconds. Don't know if he has time to get there. Ratchie in third. Jared Lawson comfortably running in fourth position. Paul Darling, after that little spin that he phoned to his wife saying, I'm going to hit the wall, was able to get a fresh car back out there running in fifth right now. And maybe a chance, maybe has possibility of catching Lawson up there. In sixth position, Drew Letke. Seventh spot, Robert Tarbucks. Looks, I think, going to say he safely secured that Pro-Am championship. Paul Hume, very quiet. Let's get some camera time on Paul Hume. Haven't seen much of him today. Oh, sorry, it's James Hume. Running in eighth position. Nice run from him in that. Another blue and, he's probably part of Puffin Racing in kind of a blue and orange paint scheme again. I think he's on one of the different sister teams for Puffin Racing. Ninth position. One lap back is Tim Collier. We've seen enough of him. Let's get the camera off him before we give him more damage. And then Anthony James running in 10th. A quiet run from him. Anthony running in that McLaren into the top 10. So there's your top 10s, Rich. Man, I love looking at the exhaust coming out of the McLarens. It's something else. Oh, we've lost Richard one more time. Yeah, looking at Tarbox and Ulam on screen right now. That's probably our best battle. Tarbox, 55 seconds off the lead with Ulam right behind him. Close battle here. This is a battle for seventh. We'll also keep an eye on Darling. He's not there yet, but Darling is, he's got about 4.5 seconds to close, so I don't think we'll have to worry about that. Let's see on this battle here with Tarbox and Ulam. James hasn't had a lot of screen time today. Tarbox running in seventh position. Now remember, Tarbox knows that Collier's had some trouble. He wants that Pro-Am championship, so we'll see how much he really wants to battle here. Sometimes the fun of battling outweighs the common sense of maybe letting Ulam go by him. On board there with Ulam. As you can see, Tarbox up ahead. And we're going to look at Ratchie now. He is flying. He's actually only 2.1 seconds behind his partner, Lundy. Maybe Lundy's slowing down so they can have a nice little photo finish for their cars, but I don't think so. We talked about this. In fact, I asked Jason in the last race who was faster, if it was Lundy or himself or Ratchie who's been faster. He says about even Steven going up as they have the car. You know what? We're going to be able to cover all the battles here at once. We were watching that battle with James. I think James has just looped it. Because James was in the battle, now he's fallen way off the pace. I think James put it in the grass. I saw that smoke. The reason I bring that up is James is just ahead of Lundy now, who's just ahead of Ratchie. Lundy with only 1.7 second lead. Ratchie is just gobbling up this track. I'm sorry, I read the last name. Ahead of Jason Lundy. I'm still working on my announcing skills. That's not James, it's Anthony James, not James that we were talking about before. It's important to understand that the first names go on the left and the last names go on the right. I got this figured out now. James running in 10th position, about to be lapsed by Lundy, but Lundy cannot take any time with this. He cannot wait to get this done because he's got Ratchie closing his teammate right behind him. We're on board with Tom as Tom looks ahead of those two cars. We'll see if James gets out of the way. Tony's looking really not getting out of the way here as they head on up to Lukey Heights. We'd like to get this done, be quick. And there, Jason, you can see the backfire of that McLaren slow down. And we're back on Ratchie now. And look at James. Nice job, Tony. He keeps it to the outside. And that's not going to Lukey Heights. Again, I miscalled that one more time. They were heading their way into Honda. Now they're going to go around Siberia. And now they're going to go up to Lukey Heights. They're both going right to left on my screen, but it's different when you're going uphill as they climb up the heights now. Now Lundy with about a 1.1 second lead on his teammate BMW of Tom Ratchie. With 6.5 minutes to go, we'll go back and we'll keep an eye here. We'll see back what happened to that Tarbox-Hume battle, because we like to keep an eye on both battles here. We'll jump in on a real quick. Tarbox with about an 8.8 second lead over Humes. So Humes not in striking distance yet. And I don't think Humes is going to close as fast as Ratchie is onto Lundy. Because as we go back to it now, oh my goodness, there's Lundy, and we see that beautiful blue machine. There goes the Ford of Warren McGarry. Warren McGarry currently running in 5th position as we watch Lundy go by on the inside as they head down into Doohan, the first corner. Lundy dives it in there. Only a half-second lead now on Ratche. Boy, this is where I wish we had that little graphic we could put up that which actually showed the feet between the drivers. I'm going to do it for you right now. I'm going to use my super distance vision here. And right now, the distance between Lundy is 45 feet, 43 feet, 37 feet, 35 feet, 24 feet. Here comes Ratche. He's right up behind him now. 2 car lengths behind. Ratche has got, as they go through Honda, Ratche is within striking distance. Lundy has got to be saying, my gosh, Tom, where did you come from? I was watching you back then. You were in last place. Meanwhile, keep in mind, Castro is well out in front. We don't have to leave this battle, but the distance now is 29 seconds Castro has back to Lundy. Lundy doesn't worry about that 29 seconds difference. He's worried about the 2.9 second, the 0.29 difference between him, Lundy, and Ratche. Ratche now coming in here. Where is Ratche going to be stronger? It's going to be hard to say. They have that car ahead of him. That's Collier. Collier's been having quite an exciting race. I don't think the car is damaged right now for Collier. Let's see if Collier pulls it over and lets these guys battle. Lundy outside on the grass. He's going to have lose momentum. But that should give Ratche great momentum as they come around the final corner. Ratche has a great corner exit. He can probably get a tow here. The problem is there's a car ahead of him. No, here comes Ratche closing. 2 car lengths. 1 car length. Ratche tries to squeeze between the slower car. He does. They go side by side. Seattle's bathrooms through Doohan. Ratche with momentum. Ratche takes over second position. Lundy surrenders it to his teammate, falling back into third. What a drive from Tom Ratche. Maybe it's not over for him yet. There's 4 minutes to go, and he only needs to make up 30 seconds. Yes, that's out of the question. I was just trying to keep the drama. Ratche now beginning to pull away from Lundy. Ratche all the way from the back of the pack. Couldn't find his car, didn't recognize the different paint scheme, got in it late, started at the back, made his way through the entire field, took a pit stop. A great run from Tom. Now what that's going to do is mean absolutely nothing in the team championship, because whether it goes Rathe Lundy or Lundy Lathy, the points are going to be the same. The big problem is what happened to Collier, who really hurt his team. Was unfortunate now, but he's worked his way back up into 9th position. So Collier still doing good, trying to get every point as it could be. Every point's going to be valuable. 3.5 minutes to go. Castro, 3.5 minutes to go. Castro on lap 39. Of course, it's a time lap, not by race. And I think maybe we have my partner Richard Losper back. Well, no, we hear him dancing around in the room there, but he can't talk to us yet. He'll butt in when he's there. See if we can find anywhere else to talk about. That Rathe-Lundy battle is going to settle down as Ratche's beginning to pull away. We're going to look at Tarbox and Ulm here. Ulm doing a great job. Now, there's the James I was talking about before that I thought had spun. Nope, he's doing nicely. Still running in 8th position. Has been able to close on Tarbox. A pair of BMWs going at it there. Tarbox, of course, wants to play it careful here as he's looking to get that Pro-Am championship. Doesn't want to make a mistake but he only has 2 positions over Collier now. Collier's made it all the way up to 9th position, a lap down. So now he's got to be thinking that he doesn't want to surrender this position. I don't have my notes in front of me. I can't remember if Collier was in front or if Tarmac was in front. That would make the difference. If Tarmac was leading coming into this, then he's probably comfortable here. There goes the pass, and he almost surrenders it, I would say. As Ulm took a nice dive into Honda, got that done on the inside, and Tarbox says, there you go, be on your way. Just under 2 minutes to go. Both those drivers on lap 39 of their cars. Looks like we're probably going to go maybe 40, 41 laps here today. Dexter Castro having a great lead, racing to the rhythm of the road out there in 30 seconds ahead. Rathe comfortably running in second now, has put about 1.7 seconds on Lundy. Lundy safely in third, about 8 seconds ahead of Lawson. Okay, now we talked about Lawson and Darling after going off having that issue. We knew he was closing on it, and now he's going to get this done. Darling, let me take a quick look at that car and see if it looks clean. Looks good from the left side. I think it's okay. Was he put the right side in the wall? I would imagine he probably brought that in and got a free car. So now let's see what he does. They have the slower car ahead of him. That's Collier. Collier stayed. Oh no! And there goes Lawson. He missed his braking point. I think Collier, what happened there was he had to take the inside line, which changed his corner entry. He missed his braking point, and he had to surrender that position to Collier up in front. He had to surrender that position to Darling now, who moves into fourth. Collier stays in ninth position. Didn't have any change there in that battle between Collier and James. And Lawson drops comfortably back to fifth. So now we'll keep an eye now on that Collier. That's still a battle. Collier does not want to give up that position to James there, as they're in a battle for 9th and 10th spot. Darling has taken over 4th. Lawson dropping back into 5th. So really, as we look for about the only battle, maybe we'll drop back in, take another quick look back in on James Hume, who's gotten around. Remember, we saw him getting around Robert Tarbox. Not able to stay with him. Hume's getting to put a second ahead of him now as we get down to 7 seconds to go. So we are very close. Are we on the white flag lap? Sometimes they don't show here. Castro, as the time has run out, and Castro is going into Lukey Heights. So we think that this is the last lap. So Dexter Castro, let's put the camera on the main man, Dexter Castro. As he goes in through turn 10, Richard Losper calls it the MG corner. I call it the dip. It's exciting that no matter what it is. They come around the one more left-hander now, and he's got the final left-hander to go. Dexter Castro is going to win the finale race of the Champion Motorsports Sprint Series. Dexter Castro takes the well-deserved win. We'll see if we can find Ratchie. He's only 30 seconds behind. We'll follow these guys as they come across the car. A car spinning in front of them there is Friels, Jason Friels running in 12th position. Oh, and another car off too is Simon Goodwin. Both of those drivers are off. Oh, and Simon Goodwin gets in trouble with Troy Fagan. Those guys getting a little excitement there going on with Goodwin, Fagan, and Fields. Meanwhile, Ratchie, as we're speaking, Ratchie comes across the start-finish line, taking over second position. His teammate Jason Lundy grabbing third. Then those drivers who were having some fun, lap cars down to Goodwin, Fagan, and Fields crossing. We go back to Paul Darling, who crosses in fourth position. Friels gets across. Collier running in is going to get ahead in ninth, ahead of James. We'll see if we can wrap out all the cars on the lead lap. Lawson comes across in fifth. Back to Drew Litke's going to finish up in sixth position. And then we'll follow this battle all the way back here, this battle for seventh. It looks like it's pretty much settled down, as coming around the final corner, it's James Hulme and then Robert Tarbox Jr., who we believe, by our calculation, he's going to finish in 8th position, one spot ahead of Collier. That's going to make that points championship very close for the Pro-Am. Okay, it's just me here, so I have nobody to throw it to. Let's just go to break now. I'll take a sip. Oh, Richard Losper is back. Richard, why don't you come back, throw it to break?
Yeah. Crazy stuff happening in the last lap there. Everyone desperate to pick up a position. Tim Collier managed to finish one position behind Robert Tarbox Jr. So that's going to make it very interesting. Depends what the differential is between 7th and 8th and any other points which may be gained. But Bill, we are going to go to a break now, and when we come back, we'll give you the full standings, and then, of course, we'll do some driver interviews as well. Don't go away. We'll be back soon.
Welcome back to the post-race show on Global Sim Racing Channel. We're going to wrap up not only the race, but this season. Let's go ahead and give you the final. We did the rundowns of most of the cars on the lead lap, but let's go ahead and actually post them up there for you so the drivers and their friends and families and fans can see their names in print, which is always more exciting. On the pole, the winner, taking the checkered flag, Dexter Castro, 31 seconds victory, well ahead of a great charge. Tom Ratche ran all the way through from the back of the pack to finish second. And the good news is we got most of it on camera. Jason Lundy, third position. Great finish for Puffin Racing, 2-3 there. Paul Darling had that off, glanced off the wall, was able to bring that car back from second place when he dropped down to second, brought it all the way back up to fourth. Jared Lawson in fifth. Drew Litke in sixth position. James Hume's going to come in seventh. Eighth, Robert Tarbox, who we think is the Pro-Am champion. Tim Collier in ninth, just off the championship, and rounding out the top 10 is Tony James. Richard?
In 11th, Ken Baldwin, who featured in one of our battles that we broadcast. Then in 12th place, Simon Goodwin also featured in that battle. Troy Fagan finished up in 13th place. Jay Friels in 14th. Warren McGarry in 15th place. Miguel El Crudo in 16th. Umberto Roca, the series champion, finished in 17th place today. And last place went to Curtis Pelsion, and that was 17th position. Bill?
Okay, we're going to bring in our series champion today. Now, we'll have a couple questions for him. He didn't have a great race, but he's hung around here to get crowned his championship. I coined him. Somebody told me his nickname was the Bolivian Breeze, but I'm not sure he's from Bolivia. He might be from Colombia. So first thing we're going to ask him is what country he hails from. I know right now he currently lives in Florida. Umberto, is it Bolivia or Colombia that you're from?
Bolivia.
Bolivia. So the Bolivia Breeze is right. Up there usually breezing to those victories and breezing to the championship. What happened today? You had kind of, before we talk about the championship, just had some hardware issues, or what was going on with you?
Well, I hadn't had any problems in the practice, and the last 2 days also I was practicing, never had a problem. But this time, for some reason, the computer froze twice in the same spot because I tried to come back and just race, but then again after like 3 or 4 laps happened again. So I have no idea what happened. It just froze.
Yeah, it made some interesting for us to try to figure out what was going on as your car was slowly drifting across the grass. Let's talk about you and just sim racing in general. You know, you're above average sim racer. You know, there's certainly guys who are the pros who are really good, but why do you think you're so good as a sim racer? Is it just videos? Would you be good at Pac-Man or or Call of Duty as well, or is it specifically related to racing, or just why are you so good?
Well, pretty terrible at shooters and everything else. It's just racing. So I think that I consider myself fast, and I've evolved over the last 4 years, but it's just practice. I've always tried to be more consistent rather than be fast. I've managed to get fast and consistent, so it's something I've developed over the last 4 years, because the first year or so I was very, very slow. I'm talking about less than 1,000 iRating. So yeah, I was very slow.
Oh, you know what? You have just given me hope. Now have new hope. I am so glad to interview. You know what? GSRC doesn't even have to pay me for this race now. I've got paid enough by just knowing that I too can be Umberto Roca. Umberto, I'm going to cut this interview short because I want to get out of here and start practicing. Congratulations, man. It's really, you know what? It's a pleasure to watch you drive, and it's really a pleasure to have you in the interview booth. You're a likable guy.
Thank you guys. Yeah, and it's always great to talk with you guys and listen to the broadcast, and it's just awesome.
Hang on. We didn't even mention the championship, Bill. What's wrong with you?
Oh, I thought I did. He didn't have a good race today, but he is our overall championship. 6 races, won 5 of them, 6 poles. Congratulations, and we hope to have you back. We hope to get this series again next season and see you racing again. Is the GT3 your favorite car?
Definitely. GT3 is my favorite class, and you'll see me next season in another car. I'm gonna try another thing.
Oh man, I can't wait. Congratulations. It's fun to have you in the series, fun to have you in the interview booth.
Thank you.
Umberto Roca, your season champion. Richard?
Thank you very much. All right, well, we are going to bring Dexter Castro, the winner of this race, into the booth right now. He's with us. Dexter, unbelievable. Or maybe I shouldn't say it that way, but I have to say I didn't expect you to have a win today.
Well, yeah, I honestly didn't know how much position to expect coming in here, and and really from the start, it was very close at the top. I think the top 4 were within a couple hundredths of a second. I think second through fourth might have been within a few thousandths.
Yeah, well, look, you just did a great job today. There's just no question. Would have loved to have seen Tom Rache and Umberto Roca up there as well. Umberto had some hardware issues, so that was his problem. We found out just before. And Tom Rache, of course, started from way back, and so had to charge his way through the field and ended up in second place. But you had some challenges from Paul Darling at some point during the race, but you kind of saw him off by increasing your lead lap after lap after a little while of almost battling with him.
Yeah. I mean, I was, I was a little worried about my tires, just because for some reason this car, most cars I'm very gentle on my tires, but I was being very conservative the whole race, just to make sure I didn't mess it up all on my own, because we all know I'm perfectly capable of that. But really it was just, I guess once Umberto had his hardware issue and scared the heck out of me, I almost ran into the back of him. But once he had that hardware issue and Tom had accidentally forgotten to put race fuel in his car, is why he had to start from the pits. But after that, I was fairly confident I could keep Paul behind me at the very least. So I just didn't want to burn up my tires, and eventually I just managed to get the consistency to finally pull away.
All right, well, we've been asked to keep things a bit short, so we congratulate you on a good win. Would like to see you back next season if next season is back with us again, which I believe it very well might be. So hopefully we'll see you next season racing some more races, Dexter, but congratulations on a very good win today.
Yeah, thank you very much, and hopefully I'll be able to race more of next season. Just between work and various other things getting in the way, I've only had time to practice for one GT3 series, and thankfully this one was at the same track. But hopefully I'll be in more of the races next season.
Hey, Dexter, just to follow up on what you're saying, because we just saw you like 2 or 3 days ago. Weren't you in the same car on the same track with the Autobahn series, right?
Yeah, and that one didn't end nearly as well,
not quite as well.
But I couldn't resist a rematch with Paul.
Yeah, there you go. Well, congratulations, Dexter Castro, your race winner today. We just saw him in a race in the Autobahn series, and he talked about he got in a little trouble going up into Lukey Heights. It was a great, if you want to see a good half lap, go catch that last Autobahn series. The most exciting half lap you'll ever want to see between Dexter Castro and I think it was Paul Darling. Okay, next up in our interview booth is going to be who we believe is our Pro-Am champion, and that's Robert Tarbox. I'm getting the official news that he is, so they can go ahead and engrave the crown. They're doing it right now, and I'll be handing it over to Robert Tarbox. Congratulations, Robert, Pro-Am winner.
Thank you very much. Oh my God, I was sweating bullets out that entire race. Tim, for the first, 35 minutes, stayed right on me. Oh my God, I did not breathe. I think until the checkered flag flew. Like I even saw about 10 minutes ago, he spun out and fell off the relative. And I'm just like, oh God, I got to keep it on the racetrack right now. I can't give up. Oh my God. What a finish going into this last race. Like I said, we were going to try to give you guys a good show, and I hope we gave it to you.
Oh, I think so. Now, Richard and I were watching the battle you were in there. I think it was with James Ulam, who, and almost like I felt like maybe did you just say, you know what, I will surrender this position. I don't need that.
Exactly. James said, he said, I don't want to play spoil sport, so I can hang behind you, just log laps. I said, honestly, I said this about 10 minutes ago. I said, honestly, this set, my setup, it was just getting so tight at the end. I said, if you have an opportunity to pass me, just go. Because I figured this out. Like, I had the points all out on a spreadsheet. I figured out as long as I finished ahead of Tim or one spot behind him, I should have this championship no matter what. So once Tim started to fall off, I just pretty much just opened the door for James, and once he went for it, I just completely backed off, let him go, and just kept the car on the track. That's all I cared about in that last 10 minutes.
Yeah, we'll give our hats off to Tim, though. Even though he had his trouble, really worked his rear end off to make it interesting, where you still had to work your way to get there.
Oh my God, I not get rid of him. The thing I wanted to do in the first 30 minutes was stay with the pro guys, keep their draft, break the draft with Tim, and just kind of take it easy from there. I could never do it.
Well, it was a good race. Congratulations on the crown. That means maybe they'll have to move you up. You maybe not get a chance to run for this championship next year if you win it. I think that's might be how it works, huh?
Well, yeah, I mean, over season 1 and season 2, like that's when I joined the Screw Loose guys, and I was 1500 I rating, I think, when I joined them, and now, I was 1800, and now I've gained like 800, about 2600, and that's pro level, and combined with a good solid finish to the last season, and getting this championship, even if they said, you don't have to go pro, I think I would volunteer myself to go pro anyway.
Well, congratulations, and you've given me more hope. I just keep getting hope now to go out there and practice. Everyone keeps getting better. Robert Arbox, our Pro-Am champion in the...
Also,
go ahead.
Take a few
yes.
people?
Oh,
okay, thank you.
You've gone to the Michael Waltrip School of Interviewing. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I want to send a big shout out to the Screw Loose guys, always there to support me, and mostly I want to thank two people, Thomas Powell, who has spotted for my last couple races to keep myself in this, because without him, who knows if I would have kept it on the track or not. Also, I had another person help me out who was on Rec Patrol, Layla Wilson. She has a YouTube channel. She's a great person. If anybody can support her, go ahead and do it. That's what I wanted to say. So I'll let you get on with the next guy. So everybody, thanks Jason for putting this on, by the way, since you're in here. And thanks,
Stop already.
And thank you, GSRC, for being awesome.
All right. Thank you. iRacing simulates real-world racing in so many ways, both on the track and in the interview booth.
I'm sorry, I'm so excited.
It's fine. You gotta thank the people who make it possible. All right, our director is going to strangle me if we don't wrap this thing up. So
No.
Okay.
He's actually
No.
He's actually asked that we do one more interview, and I have taken the liberty of bringing Jason Lundy, the series organizer, into the booth. I've also brought Eastman Racing teammate Tom Rache in as well, because I believe they may well have wrapped up the team championship, Bill. But anyway, let's have a look. First, we'll talk to Tom Rache. Tom, very quickly, because our director is quite ill at the moment. A good second place coming from the pits there. What happened? You didn't put in enough fuel?
Oh, I gotta talk to my team manager. He's hiring the most awful pit boss. Yeah.
But look, you stormed back, and I believe that if you had started in your position, you would have given Dexter a really good go for the race, I think.
Yeah, it would have been fun. Practice and Qual, Dexter, and Umberto. I was really looking forward to it, and I couldn't believe I missed the start.
Look, it's happened to the best of us and the worst of us, Tom, so don't feel too bad. Congratulations, good second place here. And I think that you and Jason together may have pulled off the win in the team championship. However, congrats, and we do want to talk to Jason. Jason, A fantastic series. I've enjoyed every minute of every race that I have been in the booth. Great job, man.
Hey, thank you. That's very exciting down here behind the wheel as well. And I just want to confirm we did eke out the team championship 1 point over Can-Am. So congrats to those guys who gave us a great battle all season long. But man, it was a hell of a drive from Tom after his mistake. Coming back through the field to finish second, me finishing third. I know some of the other guys dropped out, but I think we put ourselves in a position there. We had to make passes on the track to get to that point. So just congrats to Tom and Jim on his win in Pro-Am. But man, this is an awesome team, and I'm actually going to retain Tom even though he keeps making mistakes like this every week.
Yeah, you know, and he doesn't make it easy on
Thanks,
on the interviewers, on the announcers either. We call out the grid, and there's Ratchy in third position. Now we go to the race starts, and all of a sudden there's another, like the sister car, the Puffin car, and it should be Tom, but wait, no, it's not Tom. It's Jason, because you got moved up into his spot. You started third, and confused the heck out of me. And then Tom started from the pits. I didn't think Tom made the grid. Then all of a sudden I see him working his way up through the field. Wow, Tom. The good news is when you watch the replay, we caught most of it on the broadcast.
Yeah, it was. There were some challenging spots. There's a couple cars a little tough to get by, but it was fun. I do miss. I would have been fun playing with Dex, but not to be.
What was the agreement between you guys? You got up there to your team captain. Was there much of a battle, or was it pretty much he's going to let you? But Jason, let me ask you: did you let Tom go by?
Oh yeah, I was feeling bad for him at that point.
Okay.
So yeah, I knew Tom had more pace at point. My tires were kind of ragged, so I just let him go.
Well, congratulations to Puffin Racing and for the team championship. I think we got all the champions on to the interview today, Richard.
Yep, a couple more questions for Jason. So, Jason, you guys are up for another season next year. Are you going to do endurance and sprint again? And are you going to continue with GSRC?
Oh yeah, I think that you guys, in my opinion, are the best at this in the business.
Oh,
so
thank
we would like
you.
to continue that, and we're planning for next season. You know, there's a couple new GT3 cars coming out, so yeah, look for us to be on GSRC again, hopefully.
Okay. Well, guys, congratulations. Great racing every time that you guys have come out there. 7 races in the series. And, you know, every one of them has been exciting, and every one of them has thrown up some unexpected results as well. So it's been a great series. So thank you for it. And I think now I better hand back to Bill to close up. Otherwise, our director might switch us off. Go ahead, Bill.
Absolutely. Kevin's got a case of Ham's beer in his garage for me, and watch how fast I get through this. He may actually send it to me. Thanks to everyone at Championship Motorsports organizing this series and contracting with GSRC to cover it, and we look forward to covering more CMS events in the near future. Thanks to the company's equipment and software that you see on the screen right now that we use for the broadcast. The original music you've heard on today's broadcast is thanks to Eric Eckel and Casey Lalonde. To see them on the screen, and you can contact them at the locations on the screen. Thanks to my mic mate Richard Losper, our director Kevin Brown, Dougie Beard for his camera work. And if you'd like to find out more about GSRC, your best bet is, of course, GlobalSimRacingChannel.com, along with archived races and race highlights. We've also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. And now that the housekeeping is done, it's time for us to go off and have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race hard, race clean, and all of us at GSRC will see you on the track.